Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Akakadash. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles and bishops of Great Millstone, to the Akim and Aquaf, throughout the four corners of the earth, holding on in sincerity and in truth to the gospel of the Lord of Mashiach Yahushai in these days and times. This is Abraham Menashe DC Camp. Another short lesson for the hopeful elect to be edified. Yep, so you see on the screen the G20, the group of 20 nations, all right, that embed with the elites of this world, all right. So you just have to know that the G20 summit was held in India, and you just have to know what their whole agenda is all about, okay. Yeah, so this is just the alliances that you hear about in the scriptures, man. You know, you just got to be careful about how you view things through the lens of the media. You're supposed to view things according to the scriptures, okay? So let me just read a quick precepts from the book of Proverbs, chapter 13. Let's see. Alright, I'll just get straight to the point. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 13. Whoso despiseth the word, alright, the word of the Lord, Hamashiach Yahushua Ba'ashem Akakadash, shall be destroyed. But he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. Yep, just keep that at the center of your mind at all times, and you would not be afraid to endure the evil that's coming upon this world. It's very, very important to know that the word of the Lord is the most important treasure you could ever hold on to, not some so-called digital currency, all right? Not some tangible assets like gold, silver, real estate, businesses, and all that stuff. That's not really what wealth is, according to the Spirit. All right? Scripture talks about wisdom, much more precious than gold, silver, rubies. There's nothing you can liken unto the wisdom from the Lord. All right? So, one more precept from the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 1. It says, a false balance is an abomination. All right? A false balance is abomination to the Lord Yahweh, Hashem, Shai, Hashem, Akakadash, but a just weight is his delight. Okay? So, I'll go ahead and play this clip, and then I'll just read the list of the G20 nations.
Welcome everyone, I'm Spiro with breaking news. The G20 just officially announced they are launching a plan for a global framework for digital currencies and digital IDs. Watch.
Laying the building blocks for a globally coordinated and comprehensive policy and regulatory framework for crypto assets. The global push for clearer policies on crypto assets has gained momentum under the Indian presidency, and a global consensus is emerging on the same. The presidency will support the IMF and the FSB, and FSB is also setting the contours of the regulatory framework for a globally coordinated approach to crypto assets. So the presidency, with the support of IMF and the FSB, is setting these contours. The IMF and FSB synthesis paper, about which I've spoken to the media earlier, including a roadmap. On that, I just want to give my observation. This synthesis paper delves into how the policy and regulatory frameworks developed by the IMF and the FSB alongside the other standard setting bodies, will fit together and interact with each other. This paper is now available in the public domain for all of you all to see.
Now, crypto was initially portrayed as a way to decouple from the central banks and to provide a layer of anonymity, just like using cash, right? But that's not what this is at all. In fact, it's quite the opposite. This is about the rollout of central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. Now, the central banks have been working on this for quite a long time, and they have been partnering with governments and private corporations to usher this in. It kind of sounds like fascism, right? But what does it mean? Well, we've already witnessed how the central banks have been using a debt-based system to essentially enslave entire nations, and soon they'll have the ability to monitor, regulate, and tax you into submission in every way imaginable. And before you know it, you'll be eating bugs and driving electric cars. Or at least that's their plan if they get their way. Another example, didn't get your latest booster shot? Sorry, your account's been restricted until you comply.
Yeah, so just the agenda that Esau has on the table. And you know how it is, man. You know it's all part of prophecy. You have nothing to be afraid of. You just have to have faith in the Lord Amashak Yahushai Bashima Kwakadash. You know, just hold on to the testimony of the Lord Amashak Yahushai. So the G20 is a group of 20 nations, all right? So I read the list real quick. Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa. Then you have Turkey, the UK, United States, the African Union, and the European Union. All right, so they basically got the whole world covered. All right, so you got our people linked in there too. You got the Northern Kingdom, all right, and you also have the Southern Kingdom. So when you talk about the Southern Kingdom, you got Argentina. Yeah, the Northern Kingdom. You got Argentina. You got Brazil. All right. You also have Mexico in there. You have Moab. You have Ammon. You have Teman. All right. You have Ishmael. You got the Canaanites in there. All right. All right. The children of Ham, and you also have Turkey. Turkey is still the nation of Edom. All right. They're just Arab speaking. Okay. You got Esau in there also. You got the United States. That's Esau also. And then the African Union is basically a combination of Ishmael, Ham, and the Southern Kingdom of Israel. All right. And then you have the EU nations. Okay. So you see that? Yeah. So you basically have them linked in with the beast. Okay. And you hear what the Indian representative was talking about, a regulatory framework to make it feasible to adopt a digital currency system. Yeah, so that's just what it is, man. That's the agenda on the table. They have to push the economy of the different nations into a digital system that they can control, that they can manipulate and restrict. Okay, and it's just part of the agenda that you have to deal with, man. You can't ignore it. All right. Yes, this is just the rolling out of the carpet towards the MOTB. All right, and it's just something we all have to consider as we read the scriptures. So the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 11 says, lest the adversary should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So these are just the plans of the adversary to lead our people astray. All right. So what's the use of putting forth this agenda? The woman talking about some documents, some policy study that you need to go read. It's available online. Yeah, so it's just the whole agenda, to control the world population. But the ultimate goal is to come against the children of Israel. All right. So whatever she was saying is just the talking points from the elite to separate our people from their heritage. All right. To cut the cord of righteousness off our minds. All right. To distance us away from the Lord Amashak Yahushua Bashim. That's what Esau's always doing. Make you so worried about life that you don't have time to focus on the Lord. And that's what it is, You pressure your mind so bad that you lose track of your identity, and you just get swallowed up by their schemes. All right. So scripture I'll read will be from the book of Exodus. All right. Exodus chapter 23, verse. Let's see. Yeah, verses 1 and 2. It says, "Thou shalt not raise a false report." All right. So you shouldn't be engaged in activities to deceive thy people. All right. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. And there are people that get linked in with all this so-called digital agenda, but promoting it as if it's the holy grail of humanity. And they basically know what the secret is, and they still try to push it hard. But hey, they're going against the commandments of the Lord. They're being serpents. They've taken on the image of the serpent by being deceptive. All right. Now it says, verse 2, "Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment." Yeah, so the agenda of this digital payment system from the elite is to separate people from their wealth, to further put the people into captivity. And the elites want to have their birthrights back, the elites of Edom, all right, the elites of the EU, the elites of Canada, the elites of United States, these so-called white people that are in the know, they want the birthrights of Edom, and they're doing everything they can to get closer to that goal. That's why they're having these summits. You have the G8 summit, and then you have the G20 summit. Okay, and then you already know the list of the members in there. Okay, so if you get a chance to go online, take a look at the list, and then you link that up with the book of Revelation. So let's just go real quick to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13. All right, just bear with me one moment. I'm going to read verse 6. "If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers, namely the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth, thou shalt not consent unto him." All right. So when our people are basically pressuring you, man, they're putting forth all these promotions on social media, on the news, on the radio, to go along with the MOTB agenda. The scripture basically tells you, you shall not consent unto him, all right, nor hearken unto him. So you basically don't follow along with them, and don't follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare. So don't say, oh, because it's my mom, my cousin, my dad, my child is suffering, I need to get this, MOTV. You can't be that way, man. The Lord says, thou shalt not consent under any circumstance. All right? You have to be steadfast, unmovable. Neither shalt thou conceal him. So you have to pass the word on, to the brothers, in the ministry, share the word. Let our people know that you shouldn't go along with it. And, one of the brothers even talked about a vision that his wife had, that those that knew that they were Jakes, they were Israelites, were just giving up and just caving in, going along with the agenda for the MOTB. Yeah, so you just have to know what the price would be. Yeah, but verse 9 tells you the judgment. It says, but thou shalt surely kill him, thine hand shall be upon him first, to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. And this time you can't really do that. So it's basically the Lord will bring about the judgment. The angels will decide when the judgment of the Lord. Let me not even say that, man. The Lord will decide when his angels are going to execute that judgment upon the bug outs of our people that want to go along with the plan of the elite to just give in and give up. Yeah, you have to hold on to the end. The scripture talks about he that endureth unto the end shall be saved. So what's the worry about? Okay, yeah, if Yahushua, was resurrected from the dead, why should we not have that same courage to accept our persecution and be resurrected, and be protected? Yeah, if you're going to be resurrected, that means you're already protected. That's just what it is, So that means the enemy taking your life does not really change, the trajectory of your salvation. All right. So Ephesians chapter 5 verse 15 says this: see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So these are evil and deceptive times that we've been living in. Okay, so when you hear, India is basically the holder of the presidency for the G20. All right, from last year until this year, I think according to the article I checked out, it expires. The presidency expires. The term is up in November of this year. All right, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Verse 17, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. All right, so the will of the Lord for his elect is to be steadfast and unmovable at the persecution, at the oppression of the serpent. Okay, the persecution of the dragon. So you have to accept that challenge that the Lord is putting forth for you to hold on to. All right, yeah, the only way you're going to be delivered is if you hold on to the end. All right, Sirach chapter 4 verse 28, strive for the truth. All right, strive for the testimony of the Lord of Mashiach Yahushai by Shema unto death. All right, till your last breath. and the Lord shall fight for thee. That's what it is, man. Hold on to the testament of the Lord Amashak, and the Lord shall give his angels charge over thee. That's just what it is. You know, the Lord is going to overthrow the tabernacles of his enemies. All right. Now we go to the book of Revelation. All right. Book of Revelation, chapter 20, and verses 7 and 8. It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, all right, this is the captivity of Edom during the so-called Dark Ages in Europe. The adversary, Satan, shall be loosed out of his prison. That's what the Lord allowed to happen. He sanctioned the release of these Edomites. That's how they were able to get back in power. All right, through the Ottoman Turks. That's how the Roman Empire got put back together. Okay, that's the Renaissance, the rebirth of the power structure of Edom, and shall go out to deceive the nations. See that? Which are in the four quarters of the earth. So when you look at the G20 list, you basically know that is a list covering the four corners of the earth. The majority of the nations on that list cover the four corners of the earth. Okay? That's just what it is. Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. So this is how they get down. It's through the art of deception. Yeah, it's through the art of deception. They have to deceive the people into going along with the judicial system, and they still have to deceive the people to go to war. And that's what they did with World War I and World War II. They used the soldiers, they used the populations of the people as puppets. And that is their final attempt. World War III is their final attempt to get close to their ultimate goal of destroying the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans. All right, and you see the list. You see Argentina, you see Brazil, and you see Mexico. All right, those are powerhouses over there in South America and Central America. All right, and that's the reason why, you know, the Lord Amashak Yahushai has to put an end to the power structure of Esau. Okay, now let's read another precept, because the book of Nahum tells you exactly what to look out for. All right, and what the Lord will do. So Nahum chapter 3 verse 4, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the way-favored harlots, all right, the United States, okay, also a member of the G20, the mistress of witchcraft that selleth nations, all right, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft. Yeah, so that's just the Lord exposing Esau, man, that the elites that control America are simply witches. They're simply warlocks. All right. The Lord referred to them. Okay. Yeah. And then verse 5 says, behold, I am against thee, said the Lord of hosts, the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face. Yeah, so the elites are getting exposed, you know, just like this gentleman, so-called Edomite guy on on the screen is exposing the agenda of the elites and the people that part of the plan. That's just what it is, you know. That's just what it is. And I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will shew the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. All right. So when the Lord brings heavy judgment upon America, it's gonna be known worldwide. All right. That's the total desolation. All right. That's gonna be the ultimate shame that the Lord will bring upon America. All right. Verse 6 says, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, to make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. Yeah. So America is just going to be desolate, man. You know, that image of desolation is going to abide with America forever. And that's just the plan of the Lord. All right. That's just the plan of the Lord to bring destruction of America. And the destruction of America also represents the end of the power structure of Edom. All right, by them planning to throw America under the bus, the Lord will also use the opportunity to deliver his people, the Israelites, all right, so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans, all right, because the elites want to use World War III as a plan to reboot their power for the next stage. But the Lord is not going to allow them to have that power any longer. All right. Revelation 12 and 12 tells you about the devil has a short time. So he's trying to propel himself furthermore into the future, but it's not going to happen. He can no longer use chaos and deception to propagate his agenda anymore. All right. So I'll play the clip some more, and then you could get some more points.
And at this point, we can start to see how the climate lockdowns don't seem too far-fetched after all, because we are witnessing the foundation of the social credit system being rolled out right now before our eyes. And if this sounds extreme, it's because it is. Just like the lockdowns and mandates that we just went through were extreme. And this agenda will maximize compliance on the next go-around. Now, what the social engineers are rolling out is called a digital panopticon, or a digital prison. This is where the digital IDs come into play.
The third one, which I'd like to draw your attention to, is the financial inclusion and productivity gains through digital public infrastructure. India, as you all are aware, through the India Stack, became the first country to develop all three foundational DPIs: the digital identity, the real-time fast payment, and a platform to safely share personal data without compromising privacy. So embedded this
Yeah, so that's what it is, man. They have to further bring the people into the bullpen, you know. They have to use all this carrot and stick approach to lure the people into the calling zone, you know, the calling zone, the kill zone. That's what it is, man. You have to entice them to give up their desire for freedom, you know, give up their freedom so they could be part of the agenda of these so-called social engineers. That's what it is, man. You know, for a piece of bread, they give up their freedom. And that's why Yahweh Shai said he had come to make us free. You know, by him giving us his testimony, it's for us to be free, to free our minds from the cares of this world. And the heathen of this world just want to rule over the world to fit their own agenda. But the Lord is not going to allow that to happen because they're not ruling in righteousness. Okay? So Job chapter 5 verses 12 and 13 says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty. Alright? So they have their crafty agenda to pull the people in. Pull them in, entice them. You know? They know how to destroy whatever they have in order to force the people to go along with the agenda of the government. That's what dictatorships do. That's what dictatorships do. All right, they're always clinging on to power through the art of deception and coercion and violence. They cannot rule without those three principles: deception, coercion, and violence. All right, and that's what it is. And they have the so-called law enforcement, their boots on the ground to execute their plans. All right, they have the centurions, the soldiers, to do the same thing too. So the generals are on the take. Your so-called governors and your mayors are on the take. Your police chiefs and your so-called sheriffs. Don't be surprised when you see them on the take too. Yeah, so it's just part of the journey. It's just part of the experience you have to observe. And yeah, crafty counsels, all right? Job 5:12, he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, okay? So the Lord will not allow them to accomplish their final goal, which is to come against the elect of the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua, the elect of Israel, okay, the 144,000. That small group, all right, that small group. In fact, let me just say the nation of Israel, the chosen ones that have been picked for salvation, all right. Verse 13, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. Okay, and 14, just add that extra precept. They meet with darkness in the daytime, so they use their think tanks and all their non-profit agencies and all their private corporations, all these multi-billion-dollar corporations, to figure out how they can force the people into the kill zone, all right, and grope in the noonday as in the night. So they're always brainstorming how they can further have control over the people. Yeah, so the Lord is gonna hit them back with his own judgment. Okay, so I'll play the clip a little bit more.
Concept in the G20 financial inclusion agenda by formulating G20 policy recommendations for advancing financial inclusion and productivity gains through digital public infrastructure.
Yeah, so you see the agenda on the screen.
Inclusion agenda by formulating G20 policy recommendations for advancing financial inclusion and
financial inclusion. All right, and then when you look at the bottom of the screen, it says what?
Productivity gains through digital.
One Earth, one future, one family. So that's basically the agenda of the so-called New World Order people, man. Out of many, one. Novus Ordo Seclorum. Yeah, out of many, one. Yeah, so that's what it is, man. That's what they want. And that's what it is. That's the whole agenda. I think that's the so-called foreign minister of India. All right, sitting to the right of this woman. Yeah, so India got the presidency of the G20, and whose agenda are they pushing? They are pushing the agenda of the super elites, the agenda of those that have the big banks that could shut down people's accounts for any reason they feel like. Yeah, they've given themselves so much power, and the people cannot really reverse that course. Only the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai is going to get them out of the way. So there is no opportunity for the people to stop them. They cannot be stopped with your guns and ammunitions and all that stuff. It's through the spiritual intervention of the Lord that they're going to be stopped, because the Lord was the one that set them up, and the Lord is going to be the same one to destroy their plans. All right? Yeah, so the Lord has to destroy the plans of the crafty, the enterprise of the crafty. All right? So Revelation chapter 7 and 8. Yes, like it, it's going to be a little bit long. And when 1,000 years of are expired, Satan, the adversary, shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall deceive, and shall go out and deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. So that's just the agenda. I just had to read it one more time. All right. So next precept will be from the book of Psalms chapter 83. Yeah, this is what it wants, man. You know, if you read the whole chapter, it just shows you the whole scheme that they're pushing forward. And you have all these journalists that have been paid for to promote the agenda. You know, promote the Trojan horse, promote the image of the Trojan horse. That's what their digital payments economy is centered on. All right, it's about control, but then they don't want to focus on the control part. They just want to talk about how it's going to be easy for people to have an easy and stress-free life without having to deal with all the old ways of doing things. Psalms chapter 83 verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. All right, one earth, one family, one future. All right, one consent. They are confederate against thee, the confederate against the Lord Amashak Yahushai Bashim Kakadash. All right, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines and the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Loth. All right. Yeah, so that's your G20 right there, man. You know, your G20. And they're going along with the agenda of the elites of Amalek, the elites of the nation of Edom. All right, the elites of the EU, America, and Canada. Yeah, even Russia too. So don't be surprised, man. That's what it is, man. You know, you just have to know what you're up against when your faith is constantly under trials and tribulation. Yeah, so Psalms chapter 2 verse 4, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Why? Because they are scheming against the anointed. Yeah, if you read the whole chapter, Psalms chapter 2, it tells you exactly what they're doing. They're coming against the Lord Hamashak Yahushua. They want to prevent him from ruling over the earth. All right? They got access to top knowledge. Now you understand how serious they are about trying to be in power. They push their false reports, just like you see in Mexico. E.T. in a casket. E.T. on display. Yeah, man. So you just gotta deal with it, man. You know, faithfully as a true servant of the Lord Amashak Yahushai. Yeah. Verse 5, Psalms chapter 2, verse 5. He that sitteth in the heaven All right. Well, Psalms 2 and 4. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath. And it's going to start with his servants, the prophets, to condemn the governments of this world. All right. And then the angels are going to appear. You know, you're going to see signs in the heavens. That's just also the Lord speaking. All right. To show his power, to show that he is returning very soon, to destroy their powers from off the face of the earth and vex them in his sore displeasure. So the Lord is going to destroy their plans for a new world order. That's what it is, the agenda for the one earth, one family, one future, dictated by who? Not by the righteous. Yeah. So the Lord has to, crush their ideas. The Lord has to crush their plans, their grand scheme. The Lord has to crush it. That's why his son Hamashiach Yahushai has to derail the plan, the goal of World War III. The goal of the elite to use World War III to benefit their agenda. The Lord Hamashiach Yahushai has to snatch that away from them. They want to plan their chaos, but the Lord is going to take advantage of that chaos to use it for his own benefit. Just like Esau likes to set wildfires and push the agenda of global warming. Sure, Esau want to set a big old fire, but the Lord is going to use that situation to show his might, all right, to deliver his people. That's why the Lord's going to deliver the elect. When the Lord delivers the elect and keeps them safe, that's the ultimate blow. That's the ultimate blow. That he's going to deal to the head of the serpent. When the Lord protects his servants, the elect, the 144,000, the 1/3, so as those spread out throughout the four corners of the earth, that's the ultimate disappointment of Esau. All right, and the elites. You hear about the elite when you read the scriptures talking about, let the mountains fall on us to hide us from the face of him that sat upon the throne. Yeah, well, it is what it is, man. They will not be able to deal with the return of the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai. That's going to be the ultimate sword to their hearts. Just like a hot knife going through butter, that's what the appearance of the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai will be like in their minds. Their whole imagination is going to be wrecked. All right? They're going to be tormented. All right? Because when the time comes to get them up, gather them up for captivity, that's it. That's the whole agenda the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai is going to make known unto them. So, just to wrap this up, Revelation chapter 13, verses 14 and 15 tells you this, all right, about the goal of the serpent. Actually, let's start with verse 13. Revelation 13 and 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire to come down from heaven. All right, so you see his use of his directed energy weapon to start all these chaotic fires, man. All right, on earth, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. All right. Yeah, that's how he's able to push his agenda for climate change, man. By deception, by manipulating the weather. All right. Which he had power to do in the sight of the beasts, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. So they have to build a framework, a governmental framework that aligns with the agenda of the elites of the EU. the elites of America, the elites of Canada. All right, basically the serpent, the Amalekites, these so-called Jews, man. They want the nations of the world to structure their government in such a way that it reflects the policies that they want. So it wants them to be integrated. All right, that's why you have the agenda again: one earth, one family, one future. Yeah, that's what they're pushing. That they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live. Yeah, so that's what they want. That's what they want. And then verse 15 is just the point I need to bring about. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. Yeah. So they want the people to emulate the policies of the super elites. They want the people to fashion their governments after the legislation of the beast, after the policies of the beast. Okay? That the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So, when people don't want to go along with this agenda to stick with the will of the elites, to stick with their plans, they're just going to be brandished, branded for death, all right, condemned to death. That's the reason why the Lord Amashak Yahushai has to return. All right. Scripture talks about those days shall be shortened for the elect's sake. All right, so that people can be saved, man. So there can be salvation. All right, so there can be salvation. Those days shall be shortened. So the Lord has to cut short the time for them to attempt and accomplish their goals. Yeah, so they're gonna try hard. They're gonna try hard to attack, but the Lord is gonna disappoint them. Yeah, just to wrap it up, man. Just to wrap it up, Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat on them, and judgment was given unto them. So this is the elect. All right, this is the angels of the Lord. All right, to do the will of the Lord. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of the Lord Amashak Yahushai. All right, so brothers, sisters that trust in the Lord Amashak Yahushai, they're gonna lose their life. It's gonna be a certain number that will lose their life, and the Lord Amashak Yahushai is gonna, keep them. All right, the Lord is gonna preserve their faith. All right, and which had not worshipped the image, which had not worshipped the beast. All right, neither his image. Yeah, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. Yeah, so that's what it is, man. When you take a stand, not to go along with the agenda of the elites of this world, the elite bankers of this world. Yeah, they're just gonna put in that capital punishment, man. What is so bad about freedom that they want to kill, they want to take people's lives? So it really shows you that it's not really the freedom, it's about the birthright of the Israelites, of these so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans. That's exactly what they're after. They have to put an end to the name of Israel. That's why they have to use deception, coercion, and violence. All right? And this is what the Lord said concerning the elect. And they lived and reigned with Hamashak Yahweh 1,000 years. So we're going to reign with the Lord, man. The elect body of the Lord, 144,000. We're going to be part of that governing body of Yahweh Shai, crowned with salvation, crowned with the power to bring judgments upon the earth upon the enemies of the Lord Mashiach Yahushai. So we already know that the G20 is just a smokescreen for the elites of this world to try to depose the Lord Mashiach Yahushai from ascending to his throne of power. All right, they want to prevent our people, the Israelites, from claiming their birthright back. So that's just upon the Akim Baratizer. You've been edified. This lesson was a little bit long than usual, but hey, it's necessary. It's necessary that we understand what we're coming up against, and you gotta know your enemy, man. Scripture talks about never trust thine enemy. Yeah. For as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. So you have to understand, the agenda that they want to push. The deceptive practices they employ to mislead the people. Oh yeah. So when you know the value of your freedom that the Lord Mashiach Yahushai has given to you, you're going to hold on to it with all the tools he's provided. All right. That is his testimony. All right. So that's the point there. Just say Yah Bashima Shah Barakatam, Bashima Kakadash. Just hold on to the end and ye shall be saved. Shalom.